Good morning, dear friend. The dawn has only just begun to brush the horizon with shades of gold and rose. The stillness of early morning carries a sacred weight, as though the earth itself holds its breath, waiting for the touch of divine presence. In these quiet hours before the world fully awakens, there is a gift that often goes unnoticed. The air feels purer, time feels slower, and the heart feels readier to listen. This is the holy space in which we begin, a moment set apart where heaven seems a little closer and hope begins to stir again. Perhaps you are listening with a weary heart today. Maybe your night was long, filled with thoughts that refused to rest, memories that pressed upon you, or fears that whispered louder than your own breath. You may know the story of lying awake at 2 in the morning, staring into the dark, wondering if you will ever find peace again. Life can feel unbearably heavy when we carry grief, when we face the shadow of uncertainty, or when loneliness sits beside us like an uninvited guest. Some mornings, it feels like getting out of bed is an act of courage. I think of a woman who once shared her story with trembling words. She had lost her job unexpectedly after years of faithful service. With bills piling up and the silence of rejection echoing in her ears, she wondered if she had failed not only her family, but also her God. Fear became her constant companion. In her own words, she said it felt like standing in a storm without shelter, her hands gripping an umbrella full of holes. The rain soaked her, the wind shook her, and the cold pierced her bones. She prayed but felt no answer. She hoped but felt no change. Yet even in her struggle, something remarkable happened. She chose to rise each morning and whisper words of faith, even when her feelings resisted. Over time, peace began to return, not because her circumstances had instantly changed, but because her heart discovered a deeper anchor that no storm could uproot. Her story is not hers alone. In different ways, it belongs to all of us. We all walk through valleys that seem too deep and too dark. We all face seasons where the ground beneath us shakes and nothing feels steady. But in those very moments, when despair is closest, there is also the possibility of a breakthrough. Prayer becomes more than words. It becomes the breath of survival, the bridge between our weakness and God as strength, the candle that refuses to go out even in the fiercest wind. This is why we gather our hearts at dawn, because morning reminds us that night is never final. No matter how endless the darkness seemed, the sun always rises. No matter how strong the storm, the light eventually breaks through. In the same way, prayer teaches us that loss does not define the end, that fear does not hold the last word, that grief does not erase hope. When we bow our hearts in prayer, we step into the presence of one who can transform ashes into beauty, despair into joy, and weakness into strength. Today, I invite you to see this morning not simply as another routine moment, but as the threshold of a sacred journey. We are about to embark on 24 chapters of prayer, a long conversation with the one who knows your name, your wounds, and your dreams. Each chapter will carry us deeper, from confession to healing, from weakness to boldness, from fear to authority. This is not just a series of words, but a pilgrimage of the soul. And friend, you are not alone in this journey. You may feel unseen, unheard, or forgotten, but the truth is that heaven bends low to listen. The same God who painted the skies at sunrise and holds galaxies in places attentive to the cry of your heart. Faith does not erase hardship, but faith gives you the strength to walk through it. Prayer does not always change the storm, but prayer always changes the heart of the one who prays. So let this morning be different. Let this dawn become a turning point. Lay aside the distractions, quiet the noise inside, and dare to open your heart fully. The one who listens is not distant. He is near, closer than your next breath. The words we will pray in the chapters ahead are not ritual. They are not empty. They are the lifeline of a soul that chooses to rise again. If you have felt broken, bring your brokenness. If you have felt afraid, bring your fear. If you have felt unworthy, bring your doubts. Nothing you carry disqualifies you from the love that waits for you here. This journey is not for the perfect, but for the seeking. Not for the strong, but for the willing. So, dear friend, take a deep breath and let the light of morning wash over you. Allow hope to flicker again. The next words we will speak together are the doorway into prayer, into communion, into strength that is not your own. Come with expectation, for the one who meets us in prayer never disappoints. Let us step forward into this sacred conversation and discover the unshakable authority, the gentle peace, and the fierce love that only He can give. Dear Heavenly Father, in this quiet moment of morning, I lift my heart to you with gratitude that words cannot fully capture. The sun has only just begun to rise, and with it my soul awakens to the reality that life itself is a gift from your hand. I do not want to rush through this sacred hour as if it were ordinary. I want to stand still in the presence of your majesty and allow the silence of dawn to remind me that every breath I take is sustained by your mercy. The stillness around me is not empty. It is filled with your nearness, and I welcome that nearness as the anchor of my soul. I confess that too often I begin my days distracted, my mind already racing ahead, my heart already burdened by what I cannot control. But here, in the hush of morning, I sense the invitation to pause, to remember that I belong not to the world's demands, but to you. The heavens belong to you, yet you have given the earth to us, as stewards under your authority. I am reminded that my choices, my steps, and my words today matter because they are entrusted to me as responsibilities, not accidents. Thank you for entrusting me with life, with time, with relationships, and with the sacred duty of walking in integrity before you. This morning I did not come to impress you with eloquence or to prove myself worthy of your attention. I come simply as a child, aware of weakness yet grateful for belonging. In you I find my identity, and in that identity I discover strength that no human recognition could ever provide. Help me to rest in the truth that who I am in Christ is unshakable. The noise of this world tempts me to perform, to compete, to prove, but your voice calls me back to stillness, to acceptance, to the security of being known and loved. I choose to listen to that voice today. Father, Awaken my senses to the beauty around me that testifies of your glory. The gentle light of dawn breaking through darkness, the cool air brushing against my skin, the quiet rhythm of my own breathing, all of these are reminders that you are faithful. Just as night must always give way to morning, so every shadow in my life is destined to bow before the brilliance of your presence. Where fear once lingered, let trust take root. Where weariness tried to cling, let renewal flow like fresh streams. Where uncertainty pressed hard, let assurance rise steady and clear. I yield this day to you completely. Guard my thoughts so they may remain pure and aligned with your word. Guide my words so they may carry grace, not bitterness. Direct my actions so they may reflect integrity, not compromise. Let every decision I make today flow from the awareness that I represent you. When I step into conversations, let others sense peace. When I face challenges, let others see calm confidence. When I encounter opportunities, let my choices reveal the character of Christ within me. Dear Father, I long for my life to carry the fragrance of your presence. Let my heart be like a sanctuary where your spirit is welcomed without resistance. Let my mind be like a gate faithfully guarded against lies and despair. Let my hands be like instruments ready to serve, ready to bless, ready to bring healing where wounds remain. May the authority you entrust to me never be wasted on pride or control, but always poured out in humility and compassion. Teach me that true authority is not noise or display. It is steady courage and quiet responsibility. Thank you for reminding me that I do not walk this day alone. Your Spirit goes before me, preparing the way. Your grace surrounds me, holding me steady. Your mercy covers me, lifting me when I stumble. And your love abides within me, transforming every weakness into a testimony of your strength. As the morning light grows brighter, so let my faith grow clearer. As the hours unfold, let my trust remain anchored. As the day stretches long, let my hope remain unshaken. I lift up not only my own life, but also the lives of those I will meet. Let my presence bring encouragement where despair has taken root. Let my words speak life into places where silence has caused wounds. Let my actions carry integrity in moments where compromise seems easier. Shape me into a vessel that reflects Jesus in both quiet gestures and bold decisions. And as I begin this journey of prayer, I open my heart without walls, without hesitation. Meet me in every sentence, breathe through every pause, and let every longing find its home in you. This morning is not mine to keep but yours to use. May every heartbeat echo surrender. May every thought lean toward obedience. And may every moment carry the fragrance of reverence for the one who holds my life in his hands. Father, as the light of morning grows stronger, I sense the need to come honestly before you, carrying nothing hidden, pretending nothing, and holding nothing back. The stillness that welcomed me in the first moments of this day has prepared my heart for this deeper step. In the reverence of dawn, I recognize how much I need your mercy. The quiet beauty of creation reminds me that you are holy, and in the light of your holiness, I cannot ignore the shadows in my own soul. I do not want to carry yesterday's stains into today's fresh beginning. I long to be cleansed, to be restored, to be made new in the depth of who I am. I bring before you the moments where I faltered, the careless words I spoke, the thoughts I allowed to linger, the choices that revealed weakness instead of strength. They rise in my memory like stones too heavy for me to bear. I do not come to deny them, nor to justify them, but to lay them at your feet in humility. I confess the pride that crept into my heart when I longed for recognition, the impatience that surfaced when life did not move at my pace, the bitterness that whispered when I felt wronged, and the doubts that made me question your goodness. These things do not define me, but they weigh me down when I cling to them. Cleanse me, Father, with the purity of your forgiveness. Wash me in the stream of grace that never runs dry. Let the flow of your mercy move through every hidden corner of my soul. I do not want to cover my flaws with silence. I want to uncover them in honesty, so that your love may cover them with compassion. Break through the walls I have built to hide my shame, and let light flood the places where darkness once lived. Teach me that confession is not defeat, but freedom, not condemnation, but renewal. As I confess, I also release. I release the guilt that clings like chains around my heart. I release the regret that keeps me tied to the past. I release the fear that tells me I will never change. In their place, I choose to embrace the truth that you are greater than my failures. Your word declares that if I confess my sins, you are faithful and just to forgive and to cleanse me from all unrighteousness. This promise is not a distant hope, but a present reality, and I lean into it fully. Father, let this cleansing be more than a moment. Let it be a turning of my heart, a redirection of my steps, a fresh start that carries into every choice I make today. As the morning light grows brighter, let the light within me shine clearer. As the hours unfold, let the forgiveness I have received flow outward into the way I speak and act. Do not allow me to carry bitterness into this day. Instead, let forgiveness shape me so that I may extend it to others as freely as you have extended it to me. I bring before you the wound I have caused with careless actions, the relationships strained by words I cannot take back, and the silences that spoke louder than they should have. Heal what I cannot heal on my own. Restore what seems broken beyond repair. Teach me to walk humbly, not clinging to the need to be right, but clinging instead to the call to love. Remind me that forgiveness is not weakness but strength, not surrender to pain but surrender to grace. In this moment of confession, I feel the burden beginning to lift. The weight of unspoken shame loses its grip as your mercy takes its place. I no longer need to carry the fear of rejection, for you have promised acceptance. I no longer need to carry the stain of guilt, for you have declared cleansing. I no longer need to hide, for you invite me into the open embrace of your love. This freedom is not earned but given, and I receive it with gratitude that overwhelms me. Father, let this cleansing flow into my mind so that my thoughts are guarded from lies, into my heart so that my emotions are steadied by peace, and into my spirit so that my faith is renewed with courage. I ask you to realign my desires with your will, to reshape my motives with your wisdom, and to refresh my soul with the assurance that I am not defined by failure, but by grace. As I rise from this place of confession, let me walk lighter, freer, and truer to the person you created me to be. I choose this morning to begin again, not with fear but with hope, not with shame but with confidence, not with defeat but with victory that comes from being made whole. Thank you for listening, for cleansing, and for never turning away when I come honestly before you. In this dawn of confession, I find not despair but renewal, not judgment but love, not endings but beginnings. Father, having laid down the weight of my mistakes and felt the relief of cleansing grace, I now stand before you with a renewed heart, longing to embrace the truth of who I am in your eyes. Confession has stripped away the shadows that tried to disguise me. And now in this morning light, I see more clearly that my identity is not defined by failure, but by belonging. I do not want to walk through this day uncertain of who I am. I want to be rooted, secure, and unshaken, knowing that I am yours and that nothing in heaven or on earth can take me from your hand. Father, remind me again that I am not merely surviving in this world, but chosen with purpose. My name is written on the palm of your hand, and my life is not a mistake, but a story you are shaping with care. When I doubt my worth, whisper again that I am a child of the King, not an orphan scrambling for scraps of love or approval. When I fear insignificance, remind me that even the smallest details of my life are known and cherished by you. Help me believe with steady confidence that my identity in Christ is secure, not fragile, and eternal, not passing. I confess that there are moments when I still let the opinions of others shape the way I see myself. I can be swayed by criticism, lifted by applause, or crushed by rejection. But Father, I want to be anchored in something deeper, something unshakable. I want to hear your voice above every other voice, telling me that I am loved, that I am seen, that I am chosen, that I am called. Let your truth sink into the soil of my heart until no storm of words can uproot it. Let me stand tall not in pride, but in assurance, not in arrogance, but in confidence that comes from you alone. You have said that love is perfected among us, so that we may have boldness. Because as Christ is, so are we in this world. This is not a mystery too far for me to reach. It is a reality you invite me to live in each day. My identity is not built on performance, but on adoption. Not on striving, but on grace. Teach me to live from that truth, rather than chasing validation from what is fleeting. Let me wake each morning not asking the world to define me, but declaring that I already know who I am because you have spoken it. Father, root this identity deep so that it shapes the way, think and act. When fear comes, let me remember that I am not abandoned. When temptation calls, let me remember that I am not powerless. When despair whispers, let me remember that I am not hopeless. My identity is secure because it rests in Christ, not in shifting circumstances. Let this truth transform not only my mind, but also the way I carry myself today. Let it show in the way I speak to others, the way I treat myself, and the way I respond to challenges. I ask you to silence every lie that tells me I am less than what you have declared. Silence the doubts that insist I am unworthy. Silence the fears that predict my failure. Silence the voices that say I am forgotten. Replace them with the steady truth that I am beloved, that I am redeemed, that I am chosen, that I am appointed. I do not need to mimic others to find value, for you have given me a place that no one else can fill. I do not need to chase after recognition, for I am already known by the one whose recognition matters most. Father, let this identity not only bring me peace, but also empower me to live differently. Let it give me courage to speak truth when silence seems easier. Let it give me humility to serve when pride tempts me to be noticed. Let it give me resilience to endure when life tests me with fire. Let it give me joy that is not dependent on what happens around me, but flows steadily from what is unshakable within me. Teach me that my worth is not fragile but strong, because it is tied to Christ who never changes. As I step into the hours ahead, let my identity be like a banner carried openly, not hidden in fear. Let my heart say with confidence that I belong, that I am safe, that I am secure. Let my soul rest in the knowledge that nothing, neither past mistakes, nor present struggles, nor future uncertainties can separate me from your love. This assurance is the soil where courage grows, the anchor that holds me steady, the light that guides me when all else feels dark. Father, I thank you for the gift of identity rooted in Christ, for the unshakable truth that I am not who the world says I am, but who you have declared me to be. As the morning continues to unfold, let this truth remain the melody beneath every thought and the foundation beneath every step. Keep me steady in the knowledge that I am yours, and that belonging is the greatest gift I could ever carry into this day. Father, now that I rest in the certainty of who I am in you, I feel the stirring of courage rising within me, a courage not born of my own strength, but flowing from your perfect love. The awareness of identity becomes the foundation for confidence. And this confidence is not arrogance, but assurance. I realize that when I know I am loved, I no longer need to hesitate in fear or shrink back in doubt. The love you pour into me drives out the trembling that once held me captive. It makes me bold, not because I am flawless, but because I am embraced. There are times, Father, when I still feel small in the face of challenges. The voices of insecurity can creep in, telling me that I do not have enough, that I am not capable, that I should remain silent. But your word tells me that perfect love casts out fear, and that truth is greater than my feelings. When your love surrounds me, fear has no ground to stand on. Teach me to lean on that truth until boldness becomes the natural outflow of resting in you. Let courage rise in me like the morning sun, steady and unrelenting, lighting up the shadows that once tried to silence me. I ask you to help me step into this day with a heart that does not hesitate to act in obedience. When opportunities appear, give me the boldness to say yes without doubting whether I am worthy. When opposition comes, give me the boldness to stand firm without being crushed by intimidation. When silence would feel safer, give me the boldness to speak words of truth with gentleness and clarity. Let love be the source of my courage, so that even in boldness, I never lose compassion. Father, remind me that boldness is not noise, not the sound of forcing my way, but the steady confidence of a heart anchored in love. It is the ability to walk into uncertain places, knowing that you walk beside me. It is the choice to trust that if you call me to speak, you will also give me the words. It is the willingness to risk rejection, because your acceptance has already secured me. Let this boldness transform hesitation into action, timidity into testimony, fear into faith. I remember that as Christ is in this world, so am I. That truth humbles me even as it strengthens me. If he walked with authority yet clothed in gentleness, then I too can walk with both courage and kindness. If he faced hostility yet responded with peace, then I too can face difficulty without losing hope. If he gave his life in love, then I too can give myself in service without fear of being diminished. His boldness was not reckless, but rooted in trust of the Father. Let that same trust take root in me, producing boldness that reflects his nature. Father, make me bold enough to love those who are hard to love, to forgive those who have wounded me, to extend kindness where none is returned. These are the places where boldness through love shines brightest, because it is easy to defend myself, but harder to lay myself down for others. Give me the courage to do the harder thing, the deeper thing, the thing that mirrors Christ. Let love give me the strength to step beyond my comfort, to break through the walls of self-preservation, and to choose generosity of spirit over the safety of isolation. Boldness through love also means refusing to hide the light you have placed in me. I confess that there have been moments when I dimmed that light to avoid drawing attention, when I silenced truth to avoid conflict, when I held back kindness to protect myself from being misunderstood. But I no longer want to live hidden. I want to let the light shine freely, not for my own recognition, but for your glory. Give me the courage to be seen not for who I am, but for who you are within me. Father, as I walk into the day ahead, let me embody this love-shaped boldness in every space I enter. Let my voice carry peace where there is tension, my presence carry calm where there is chaos, my actions carry truth where there is confusion. Do not allow me to shrink back from opportunities to bless, but also guard me from using boldness as a weapon of pride. Keep me grounded in humility, even as I stand strong in courage. Let every word and deed flow from the conviction that I am loved, and therefore I can love without fear. And when fear tries to return, as it surely will, remind me again that it has no claim over me. Remind me that boldness is not a fleeting feeling, but a steady decision to trust in your love. Remind me that no matter the outcome, whether success or struggle, I am still secure in you. Let these reminders echo in my spirit until they become my reflex, until fear loses its power to dictate my steps. Father, thank you that boldness is not something I must manufacture, but something that flows from resting in your love. Let me draw deeply from that well today, drinking from it until every hesitation is washed away, until every doubt is silenced, until every step I take is marked by confidence born of your presence. Root me so firmly in this love that boldness becomes the natural expression of my life, a living testimony that your perfect love truly does cast out fear. Father, as boldness through love begins to take root in me, I feel the call to guard carefully the places where that love and courage are tested. Confidence does not mean carelessness, and courage does not mean recklessness. It means watching over my heart with intention, protecting the thresholds of my mind, and standing watch like a faithful keeper at the gates of my life. The strength you give me is not only for stepping forward, but also for holding firm, and in that steadiness I find the picture of a gatekeeper who does not leave his post even when others pass by, unaware of his quiet sacrifice. There are many entrances to my soul, Father, and I know how easily they can be left unguarded. A careless thought can slip in unnoticed. A whispered lie can find lodging. An unguarded word can open a door to regret. I ask you to make me watchful, to train my spirit not in suspicion, but in discernment. Help me to recognize when fear is trying to disguise itself as wisdom, when bitterness is trying to settle in as memory, when pride is trying to pose as confidence. Make me sensitive to the difference between your voice and the noise pretends to speak truth. Father, I picture myself at the doorway of my heart, holding the key you have entrusted to me. I do not want to misuse it, nor do I want to leave it idle. I want to guard what enters and protect what dwells within. Teach me to recognize the weight of this responsibility without shrinking from it. Let my vigilance not be harsh but steady, not anxious but peaceful, not driven by fear of intrusion, but by love for what is holy. As the gatekeepers of old stood faithful in their watch, may I stand faithful in mine, unseen by many but known by you. When temptations try to pass through, give me the courage to close the gate firmly. When distractions come knocking, give me the wisdom to decide whether they are harmless or harmful. When despair tries to slip in through the cracks, remind me that the door of my heart is covered by your promise and secured by your spirit. I cannot control everything that presses at the threshold, but I can choose, by your strength, which voices I allow to enter and which I refuse to welcome. Father, I confess that there are times when I have left the gate unguarded, when I have allowed impatience, envy, or doubt to walk in unchallenged. But I do not want to remain careless. I ask you to train my awareness, to sharpen my discernment, and to steady my vigilance. Let my watchfulness not make me harsh with others, but gentle with truth. Teach me that guarding my own heart is not about building walls of isolation, but about creating space where your peace can dwell unhindered. I ask also for the wisdom to guard not only my own life, but also the spaces you have entrusted me to influence. Whether it is my family, my work, or the quiet interactions I have throughout the day, let me stand like a watchman who prays over what matters most. Let my presence create safety rather than fear, order rather than confusion, peace rather than unrest. Help me to guard with humility, knowing I am not the owner, but the steward of these responsibilities. Father, when I feel weary in the watch, remind me that you never slumber or sleep. My vigilance is not mine alone, but strengthened by your Spirit, who sees what I cannot and protects what I do not notice. When I feel unseen, remind me that you honor the unseen faithfulness of those who guard the small gates of daily choices. When I feel tempted to let down my guard, remind me of the cost of neglect and the gift of diligence. Let every moment of watchfulness be an offering of love back to you. And as I guard, help me also to remember that some gates must be opened wide. Open my heart to compassion. Open my mind to wisdom. Open my hands to generosity. Do not let my vigilance turn into suspicion or my caution into coldness. Teach me to balance discernment with openness, protection with trust, boundaries with grace. Let me be a keeper who not only closes doors against what destroys, but also opens doors to what gives life. Father, I step into this day aware of the gates around me, the gate of my words, where I choose honesty over flattery, the gate of my thoughts, where I choose faith over fear, the gate of my actions, where I choose integrity over compromise, the gate of my relationships, where I choose forgiveness over bitterness. Strengthen me to stand at each one with calm watchfulness, knowing that what I allow today shapes who I become tomorrow. And so, with courage born of love and vigilance born of faith, I take my post as a gatekeeper of my life. I do not stand alone, for your spirit strengthens my watch. I do not stand in vain, for every choice matters in your sight. Let this day be marked not by carelessness, but by carefulness, not by recklessness, but by wisdom, not by neglect, but by devotion. And as I guard the gates you have entrusted to me, may all that flows into and out of my life bring honor to you and blessing to those I meet. Father, as I continue to stand watch over the gates of my life, I realize how much the strength of that watch depends on the choices I make in the smallest of moments. It is not only in the great battles that character is proven, but in the quiet decisions no one sees. Integrity begins where no applause is heard and no recognition is given. The faithfulness of a heart is revealed not only when it is tested in public, but also when it is steady in private. Teach me, Father, to honor you in those hidden places, where compromise may seem easy and shortcuts may appear harmless, yet where truth and trust are formed. I confess that sometimes I have overlooked the weight of small decisions, a word spoken quickly, a thought entertained too long, a choice delayed until the right one felt less urgent. These moments may appear insignificant, but they shape the direction of my soul. Remind me, Father, that each choice is a seed, and the harvest is formed by what I plant today. Let my words be seeds of honesty, my actions seeds of faithfulness, my thoughts seeds of purity. Even when no one notices, you notice. Even when others forget, you remember, and that awareness is enough to keep me steady. Father, I do not want to trade lasting character for temporary convenience. I do not want to chase recognition when integrity requires sacrifice. I do not want to lose sight of what is eternal by clinging to what is quick and easy. Teach me to value honesty above approval, diligence above ease, and obedience above appearance. In the quiet corners of this day, where decisions may seem too small to matter, let my integrity shine brightest. Let the unseen moments become the strongest foundation of my life, because they are built not on the shifting ground of circumstance, but on the solid rock of your truth. I ask you to strengthen me when I feel tempted to cut corners, when impatience whispers that delay is wasted time, when pride insists that image matters more than reality. Remind me that integrity is not about perfection, but about alignment, about allowing my words and actions to match the faith I profess. Let the inside of my life reflect the outside I present. Let my promises be dependable, my commitments reliable, my yes steady and my no unwavering. Teach me that even the smallest broken promise leaves a crack, and even the smallest act of faithfulness builds a bridge. Father, let integrity not only shape my choices, but also bring peace to my spirit. For when I live honestly, I carry no hidden weight. When I walk uprightly, I need not fear exposure. When I act faithfully, I sleep without restlessness. This is the gift of integrity, the quiet peace that follows truth. Guard me from living divided, from wearing one face before others and another when alone. Let me be the same person in the silence of prayer as I am in the company of friends, in the workplace, in the home, and in the hidden thoughts of my heart. I ask also that you help me model integrity to those who look to me. Whether they are family, friends, or strangers passing by, let my life tell the story of faithfulness, not only in the extraordinary but in the ordinary. When I keep a promise, may they see your reliability. When I choose patience, may they see your strength. When I honor truth, may they see your light. My prayer is not for perfection, but for consistency, for a life that points quietly yet powerfully to you in the way it handles the smallest trust. Father, thank you that integrity is not a burden I must carry alone, but a fruit that grows as I remain connected to you. When I stumble, remind me to rise quickly and return to truth. When I succeed, remind me that it is by your grace, not my pride. Keep me humble enough to learn, honest enough to confess, and strong enough to choose rightly even when no one else sees. Let this integrity be not a performance, but a reflection of the heart you are shaping within me. As I step into today, I ask you to make me mindful of the moments that matter most. The moment I choose patience in a rush. The moment I choose silence instead of gossip. The moment I choose generosity when no one is watching. The moment I choose kindness when irritation would be easier. These are the thresholds where integrity stands guard. And these are the moments I entrust to you. Let each choice reflect my love for you more than my desire for convenience. Father, let my integrity be my worship. Let it be my offering when I have nothing else to give. Let it be the steady echo of my faith, the hidden testimony of my trust, the lasting fragrance of a life surrendered. And when the day ends, may the quiet record of my choices tell a story not of perfection, but of consistency, not of striving, but of faithfulness, not of appearance, but of truth. For in the small things, you are honored, and in the small things, my life is shaped into something greater than I can see. Father, as integrity takes root in the smallest details of my life, I am reminded that one of the greatest measures of my faithfulness is found in the words I choose to speak. Integrity is revealed not only in actions, but also in the language that flows from my heart. What I say has the power to wound or to mend, to discourage or to inspire, to scatter or to gather. I cannot pretend that my words are light or meaningless, for they carry weight, shaping the lives of others and leaving echoes that last beyond the moment. Teach me, Father, to speak in ways that bring healing rather than harm, to let my tongue become an instrument of peace rather than a weapon of destruction. I confess that too often I have spoken carelessly, letting impatience slip out as sharp remarks or letting frustration shape words that pierce more deeply than I realized. There are conversations I wish I could revisit, moments where silence would have been wiser, or where kindness should have replaced criticism. These memories humble me, Father, and they remind me that my speech reveals the condition of my heart. Guard me from repeating those mistakes. Help me to pause before speaking, to weigh my words with wisdom, and to let compassion guide what passes through my lips. Father, let my voice carry truth, but let it always be truth spoken with love. I do not want to hide behind silence when truth must be spoken, but I also do not want to strike others with words that lack grace. Teach me that speech seasoned with gentleness has greater strength than harshness, that words spoken with patience have more power than those driven by anger. Let the kindness of Christ shape my conversations, so that even correction becomes healing, and even honesty becomes a doorway to growth rather than shame. I ask you to fill my mouth with encouragement. Let me speak life into those who feel overlooked, hope into those weighed down, and courage into those who fear they cannot go on. Remind me that a single word of blessing may be the seed of transformation in someone's day. Keep me from using my speech to elevate myself or to diminish another. Instead, let my words lift others higher, reflecting the light of Christ in ways that touch not only their ears, but also their hearts. Father, remind me that healing words are not only for others, but also for myself. Silence the harsh inner dialogue that speaks condemnation and replace it with reminders of your love. Let me speak truth to my own spirit when doubt rises, declaring promises instead of fears. Teach me to encourage myself in you, so that I may overflow encouragement to others. Let the words I whisper in prayer and the words I utter in quiet moments be soaked with gratitude rather than despair, with trust rather than complaint. In moments of conflict, give me the discipline to answer with calm rather than anger. In moments of misunderstanding, give me the humility to listen before speaking. In moments of sorrow, give me the tenderness to comfort with words that do not minimize pain, but honor it with compassion. Father, teach me that healing speech is not about having all the right answers, but about being present with sincerity and love. Help me to choose words that invite connection rather than division, reconciliation rather than distance. I also ask you to remind me that sometimes healing is found not in many words, but in the right ones, spoken with sincerity. Protect me from using speech as a mask to cover insecurity, from speaking more than I should in order to be heard. Let my words be few when silence would honor, and let them be bold when truth must be declared. Train me to speak with clarity so that my yes is trustworthy and my no is respected. Let every syllable carry honesty, kindness, and the fragrance of Christ's love. Father, let the conversations I have today be marked by gentleness that disarms hostility, by wisdom that brings direction, and by love that lingers long after the words have been spoken. May my speech be like balm on wounded hearts and like light in shadowed places. Do not allow my voice to be used for gossip, for tearing down, or for empty boasting. Instead, let it be used for encouragement, for truth, and for pointing others to the hope that is found in you alone. As I step into the interactions that await me, I pray for sensitivity to the needs of those I will encounter. Help me to hear not only the words spoken to me, but also the unspoken pain behind them. Give me wisdom to respond with compassion, discernment to know when to speak and when to remain silent, and courage to speak truth wrapped in grace. Let my speech mirror the love you have poured into me, so that it becomes not my voice, but your presence that others experience. Father, may my tongue never become careless, for I know it holds the power of life and death. May it never become cruel, for I know cruelty leaves wounds that linger. May it never become empty, for I know empty words waste opportunities to bless. Let it instead be steady, healing, and true. And as this day unfolds, let every conversation carry the mark of one who has been taught by your Spirit to speak life, to speak healing, and to speak love. Father, after asking you to shape my words into instruments of healing, I now see how often my speech is tested in the very moments when patience feels thin and pressure presses hard. It is in those moments of strain, when time feels scarce and expectations weigh heavy, that my faith is most clearly revealed. I confess that when life moves too quickly or challenges rise unexpectedly, I am tempted to rush, to react, to let frustration take control. Yet deep inside, I know you are calling me to a different rhythm, a rhythm of trust that waits calmly, of faith that does not panic, of patience that remains steady under the weight of pressure. Father, help me to remember that waiting is not wasted when it is surrendered to you. Too often I view delay as failure or silence as abandonment, but you are not bound by my urgency. Teach me that patience is not weakness, but strength under control, not passivity, but confidence in your timing. Let me breathe deeply in moments of pressure, remembering that your Spirit within me is never hurried, never anxious, never shaken. Give me the grace to resist the urge to solve everything in my own strength, and instead to pause, to pray, and to trust. I confess that there are times I have spoken too soon, acted too quickly, or worried too loudly because I feared that waiting meant losing. But Father, waiting on you is never loss. It is the posture of those who believe that your plans are better than haste, that your wisdom is greater than impulse, and that your presence is worth more than immediate answers. Replace my restless striving with quiet confidence. Replace my anxious rushing with a peace that is not fragile. Replace my wary impatience with hope that endures. Father, remind me of the strength that patience carries. It is the strength of a tree whose dig deep even while storms rage above. It is the strength of steady hands that hold firm when pressure mounts. It is the strength of Christ, who endured rejection, suffering, and delay without losing sight of the joy set before him. Let that same strength flow into me, giving me the ability to endure without complaint, to wait without despair, and to persevere without losing heart. When others around me push forward in panic, let me remain calm. When situations seem urgent, let me act with clarity rather than haste. When outcomes take longer than I expected, let me continue to believe rather than surrender to doubt. Teach me that patience is not about ignoring reality, but about trusting you within it. It is choosing to see beyond the moment, to believe in what I cannot yet see, to rest in the assurance that time itself bends to your will. Father, I ask you to help me cultivate patience, not only with circumstances, but also with people. Too often I have expected others to change quickly, to respond instantly, or to meet my needs without delay. But love is patient, and I want to love as you love. Give me the grace to listen longer, to forgive more freely, to walk alongside those who stumble without judgment. When I feel irritation rising, let compassion take its place. When I feel the urge to control, let gentleness calm me. When I am tempted to demand, let kindness remind me of the patience you show me every day. I ask also for patience with myself. Father, you know how often I grow frustrated with my own failures. How often I expect progress without struggle, growth without delay, transformation without process. Remind me that you are patient with me, shaping me slowly, faithfully, and lovingly. Help me extend that same patience to my own heart, trusting that each step, no matter how small, is part of the journey. Keep me from despair when change feels slow, and instead let me rejoice that you are not finished with me yet. Father, let patience become my shield in pressure. Let it protect me from rash words that wound, from reckless choices that harm, from restless fear that blinds. Let it become the quiet testimony that I trust you more than my circumstances, that I believe in your promises more than the passing urgency of the moment. May others see in me a calmness that does not come from indifference, but from faith, a steadiness that does not come from pride, but from surrender, a peace that points back to you as the source. As I walk into this day, I know there will be moments when patience is tested and pressure feels heavy. Prepare me now for those moments. Father, plant within me a deep well of peace that cannot be shaken. When demands grow loud, let my responses be shaped by trust, not fear. Let my steps be marked by calm obedience, not hurried reaction. Let my heart rest in the truth that even under pressure, I am held by the one who holds time itself. Father, thank you for showing me that patience is not only endurance but worship, not only restraint but faith in action. Thank you for being patient with me, for never rushing me away when I falter, for never abandoning me when I am slow to learn. As I face the weight of today, let patience be the song that carries me, the anchor that steadies me, and the gift that flows from me into the lives of others. Father, after learning to be patient in moments of pressure, I realize that patience alone is not enough unless it is joined with wisdom that helps me see clearly and choose rightly. Waiting creates space, but discernment fills that space with direction. Without wisdom, patience can turn into hesitation or even passivity, but with wisdom, patience becomes a foundation for purposeful action. I ask you now to give me the gift of discernment, to help me recognize what is true from what only appears to be true, what is right from what is merely convenient, what is from you and what is a distraction. Father, I confess that many times I have struggled to know which path to take. Opportunities can look alike. Doors can open and close in ways that confuse me. Voices around me can sound persuasive, yet not every voice carries truth. I need more than my own reasoning, for my understanding is limited. I need the wisdom that comes from above, wisdom that is pure, peaceable, and full of mercy. Teach me to pause and listen, not only with my ears but with my spirit. Help me to lean into your guidance, for I believe that you still speak, not always with thunder, but often with quiet conviction that settles deep within my soul. Father, I ask for discernment in the words I speak. Let me know when to answer and when to remain silent. Let me know when to confront and when to cover with grace. Let me know when to encourage boldly and when to whisper gently. Guard me from careless speech that appears wise but carries no truth, and protect me from silence that avoids responsibility when truth should be spoken. Give me clarity that cuts through confusion, so that my words do not add to noise, but instead bring direction, peace, and hope. I ask also for discernment in the choices I face today. Some decisions will be small, but even the smallest choice can shape the course of my life. Some decisions will be large, carrying weight for myself and for others. In both, I need your wisdom. Teach me not to be swayed by what looks easiest or most rewarding in the moment, but to consider what honors you and builds lasting fruit. Let me not be driven by fear of missing out, but by confidence that you will lead me in the right time to the right place. Father, give me discernment in the relationships around me. Help me to see people not through the lens of assumption, but with the clarity of compassion. Let me recognize when someone needs encouragement, when someone needs correction, and when someone simply needs presence. Help me to distinguish between words meant to guide me and words meant to mislead me. Protect me from deception that dresses itself as kindness, and from pride that refuses wise counsel. Let me value the voices you send while learning to turn away from those that cloud my vision. I ask you, Father, for discernment in the battles I face within. Not every thought that crosses my mind deserves my attention. Not every desire that rises deserves my pursuit. Teach me to separate what is fleeting from what is eternal, what is selfish from what is holy, what is destructive from what is life-giving. Train my spirit to recognize lies quickly so that I do not nurture them. Strengthen me to cling to truth, even when lies feel easier to believe. Let discernment guard my heart like a lamp shining in the darkness, revealing what hides in shadow and keeping me from stumbling. Father, when I encounter challenges that overwhelm me, remind me that wisdom is not found in myself but in you. Your word promises that if I ask, you will give generously without finding fault. So I ask boldly, not because I am deserving, but because I am dependent. I trust that you delight in guiding me, that you rejoice when I seek your counsel, that you are faithful to light the path one step at a time. I do not need to see the whole picture to follow you. I only need enough light for the step before me, and I believe you will provide it. Give me wisdom also to recognize timing. Teach me that not every opportunity must be taken immediately, and not every delay is denial. Show me when to wait and when to move, when to speak and when to listen, when to hold tightly and when to release. Let discernment help me to align with your timing rather than my own impatience. Remind me that wisdom is not only knowing what to do, but also knowing when to do it. Father, let wisdom flow through me so that others may be blessed as well. Let my counsel bring clarity where there is confusion. My presence brings steadiness where there is panic, and my decisions create peace where there is unrest. May those who encounter me today sense not only kindness, but also direction, as if your spirit has whispered through my words and actions. Use me as a vessel of discernment to bring order where chaos threatens and hope where uncertainty overwhelms. And so, Father, I walk into this day asking not only for strength to endure, but for wisdom to discern. May my mind be sharp, my spirit attentive, and my steps steady. May my life reflect the truth that discernment is not merely a skill, but a gift given by a loving Father who delights in guiding his children. Keep me humble enough to seek wisdom daily and bold enough to live by it faithfully. Let every choice, every word, and every moment carry the fragrance of discernment shaped by your Spirit. Father, after asking you for wisdom to discern, I understand more clearly that wisdom shapes the way I carry authority. True authority is not about volume or force, but about alignment with your Spirit. It does not shout to be noticed or demand to be feared. Instead, it rests quietly on those who walk humbly, who know who they are in you, and who allow your truth to direct their steps. I ask you today to teach me to live in that quiet authority, the kind that is steady rather than loud, the kind that influences without demanding, the kind that blesses rather than controls. Father, I confess that there have been moments when I misunderstood authority. I thought it meant proving myself, holding power tightly, or speaking in ways that drew attention. Yet the more I walk with you, the more I see that authority is not about proving, but about serving, not about control, but about stewardship, not about pride, but about responsibility. Show me how to wear authority like a mantle of peace, not a badge of self-importance. Help me to understand that when my life is surrendered to you, authority is simply the natural fruit of obedience. I ask you to shape my heart so that quiet authority becomes my posture in every setting. When I lead, let me lead with humility. When I follow, let me follow with respect. When I speak, let my words carry weight because they are grounded in truth, not because they are wrapped in force. When I act, let my actions bring clarity and peace, not confusion or unrest. Remind me that authority flows not from striving, but from abiding, not from pushing harder, but from trusting deeper. Father, let me walk into each interaction today with the calm assurance that you are with me. Quiet authority does not need to prove itself, because it rests in the confidence of being sent by you. It is the authority of knowing that my life belongs to Christ and that His Spirit empowers my steps. Give me that inner assurance that keeps me steady when others question, when circumstances shake, when fear tries to rise. Let my peace become a testimony that speaks louder than arguments. Let my calmness become a strength that others can lean on. I ask also for the courage to exercise quiet authority in places of conflict. When tension rises, let me be the one who carries peace. When division threatens, let me be the one who stands for unity. When truth is challenged, let me speak it clearly without cruelty. Quiet authority is not silence in the face of wrong, but truth delivered with grace, firmness without hostility, conviction without arrogance. Teach me to embody that balance so that my presence reflects Christ, who carried ultimate authority, yet clothed it in gentleness and compassion. Father, give me discernment to know when to step forward and when to step back. Quiet authority is not about dominating every space, but about discerning the right time and place to act. Teach me that sometimes the most powerful witness is restraint, and sometimes the greatest strength is in listening. Let me not confuse silence with weakness, nor speaking with strength, but help me to move in rhythm with your spirit. In that rhythm, authority will not be forced, but will flow naturally. I also ask you to protect me from using authority selfishly. Guard me from the temptation to manipulate, to control, or to seek recognition. Keep my motives pure so that every exercise of authority points others to you, not to me. Let my leadership be marked by service, my influence by love, and my decisions by integrity. Teach me to hold authority with open hands, knowing it is a trust given, not a prize earned. Father, let quiet authority be visible in the way I carry myself today, in my tone. Let there be gentleness in my eyes. Let there be kindness in my steps. Let there be purpose in my presence. Let there be peace. Let those around me feel safe rather than threatened, supported rather than diminished, encouraged rather than intimidated. May my life demonstrate that true authority blesses those it touches and honors the one who gave it. And when I feel uncertain, remind me again that I do not stand on my own. Authority does not come from perfection, but from surrender. It does not rest on flawless performance, but on faithful obedience. As long as I remain yielded to you, I can walk confidently, knowing that I am under the covering of Christ. Let that covering be the source of my peace, the reason for my courage, and the anchor of my authority. Father, I step into this day asking that every word I speak and every action I take be shaped by this quiet authority. May it be steady, humble, and full of love. May it bring order where there is confusion, calm where there is unrest, and hope where there is despair. Let it flow not from me, but from the Spirit who lives within me. And as I walk in this authority, let my life point always to you, the true source of strength, wisdom, and peace. Father, after asking you to shape my life with quiet authority, I realize that there are moments when authority must take form in courage, when love requires me not to remain silent, but to stand firm. Quiet presence brings peace, yet there are times when peace must be guarded by words of truth and acts of conviction. Courage to confront is not about aggression, but about clarity. Not about pride, but about faithfulness. Not about winning an argument, but about protecting what is holy. Teach me, Father, to step forward with the courage that flows from love, to confront lies with truth and to face fear with trust. I confess that my natural tendency is often to avoid confrontation. I prefer comfort to conflict, calm to disruption, approval to rejection. Yet I know there are moments when silence becomes agreement, when hesitation becomes compromise, when avoidance becomes surrender. Father, free me from the fear that holds me back when I am called to speak. Let my courage rise not from anger but from love, not from pride but from conviction, not from self-defense but from obedience to your Spirit. Give me courage, Father, to confront the lies that whisper in my own mind, lies that say I am not enough, that I am forgotten, that failure defines me, that fear will always win. Teach me to face those false voices with truth spoken boldly. Remind me that I am loved, that I am chosen, that I am equipped, that I am never alone. Let me confront the shadows within with the light of your word, refusing to give space to deception. I ask also for courage to confront what is harmful around me. When I see injustice, do not let me remain indifferent. When I hear words that wound, do not let me stay silent. When I encounter deception, do not let me ignore it. Teach me to speak truth clearly, but always with humility, always with gentleness, always with the intention to build rather than to destroy. Let my confrontation not be driven by the need to be right, but by the desire to honor you and protect others. Father, give me courage to confront the fears that stand in my way when challenges seem overwhelming. Let me remember that you go before me when opposition feels strong. Remind me that my strength is found in surrender, not in striving. When uncertainty looms, let me step forward anyway, trusting that obedience is more important than clarity. Teach me that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. Let my faith be greater than my hesitation, and my trust stronger than my doubt. I ask you also for courage to confront with wisdom, to know when confrontation brings healing, and when restraint brings peace. Sometimes it takes greater strength to remain silent than to speak, greater courage to wait than to act. Guide me in those moments so that I do not confuse impulse with obedience. The confrontation always be rooted in love, expressed in humility, and carried out with the goal of restoration. Father, let me remember that confrontation is not always with people, but often with the unseen battles around me. Give me strength to resist temptation firmly, to rebuke fear boldly, to reject despair consistently. Teach me to stand my ground with faith, not backing down when the enemy presses hard. Remind me that I do not fight alone, for your Spirit empowers me and your promises secure me. Let me confront darkness with light, lies with truth, and chaos with peace. I ask you to prepare my heart for the cost of confrontation. Sometimes it means being misunderstood. Sometimes it means losing approval. Sometimes it means standing alone. But let me be more concerned with pleasing you than with pleasing people. Let me find comfort not in the absence of conflict, but in the assurance of obedience. Let me trust that even when others do not see my heart, you see, and that is enough. Father, give me courage not only for the great battles, but also for the small ones. The courage to admit when I am wrong. The courage to ask for forgiveness. The courage to set boundaries where compromise tempts me. The courage to confront laziness with discipline and excuses with accountability. These daily confrontations are no less important, for they shape the integrity of my soul and prepare me for greater challenges. So, Father, I step into this day asking for the courage to confront in all its forms. Courage to face my own weakness honestly. Courage to face the lies within with truth. Courage to face the pressures around me with conviction. Courage to stand for love even when it costs me comfort. May my confrontation never be harsh, but always firm. Never reckless, but always faithful. Never rooted in pride, but always in love. And as I walk in this courage, let my life reflect the strength of Christ, who confronted sin and death with authority and gave victory through love. Father, after asking you for courage to confront, I realize that confrontation is not only with people or circumstances, but also with the unseen battles that surround me. The struggles I face are not merely flesh and blood, but spiritual forces that seek to weaken my faith and silence my witness. Teach me to recognize that every day I step into a battlefield where fear, deception, temptation, and despair try to gain ground. But you have not left me defenseless. You have given me weapons that are not of this world, weapons that are mighty through you for tearing down strongholds. I come now asking you to train my hands for this battle, to clothe me with strength, and to guide me in victory. I confess, Father, that sometimes I forget the reality of this unseen war. I treat challenges as though they are only natural, forgetting the deeper opposition pressing behind them. At times I feel discouraged without reason, wary without cause, or tempted in ways that seem relentless. In those moments, remind me that I am not weak, for your spirit within me is greater than anything against me. Remind me that I do not fight alone, that heaven itself surrounds me, that Christ has already won the ultimate victory. Father, I ask you to place upon me the armor of faith. Guard my mind with truth so that lies cannot gain a foothold. Guard my heart with righteousness so that guilt and shame cannot return to enslave me. Guard my steps with readiness so that fear cannot paralyze me. Guard my spirit with faith so that doubt cannot consume me. And guard my voice with your word so that I may answer temptation with the authority of Scripture. Let every piece of this armor remind me that my strength does not come from myself, but from you. I ask also for the weapon of prayer, which reaches beyond what my eyes can see. Teach me pray not only for myself, but for those are caught in battles they cannot name. Let my prayers become a shield around my family, a covering over my community, a weapon that breaks through darkness on behalf of others. Remind me that prayer is not wasted breath, but the cry of a warrior who trusts in the one who mans heaven's armies. Father, teach me to wield the weapon of worship. When despair presses in, let songs of praise rise louder. When fear whispers lies, let gratitude drown them out. When heaviness tries to rest upon me, let my worship invite your presence, which lifts every weight. Remind me that worship is not just a song, but a declaration of victory, a refusal to bow to the enemy, a proclamation that you reign above every power and authority. I ask you also for the weapon of obedience. Let me not only speak of faith, but act on it. When you call me to forgive, let me forgive quickly. When you call me to serve, let me serve joyfully. When you call me to resist, let me resist firmly. Obedience disarms the enemy's schemes because it aligns me with your will, where no weapon formed against me can prosper. Father, when spiritual warfare feels overwhelming, remind me of the victory already secured at the cross. Remind me that the enemy is already defeated, that death has lost its sting, that the grave has lost its power. Let me fight not for victory, but from victory, standing in the triumph of Christ. Teach me that resistance is not shouting in fear, but standing in steadfast faith, refusing to surrender ground that belongs to you. Give me courage to pray boldly when others shrink back, to intercede with persistence when answers seem delayed, to declare truth when lies abound. Make me steady like a soldier who does not abandon his post, who knows that his strength lies not in his own weapon, but in the commander he follows. Let me be vigilant, not anxious, bold, not reckless, faithful, not wary. Father, I lift before you those I love, who are also in the midst of battles. Some are weary in spirit, some are clouded by lies, some are bound by fear. Cover them with your protection. Surround them with angels who guard and deliver. Break the chains that hold them captive. Fill them with courage to resist, with truth to discern, and with peace that steadies. Remind them that they too are not alone, that the same Spirit who strengthens me strengthens them. And as I step into today, Father, let me carry the awareness that every place I go can be ground claimed for your kingdom. Let my prayers push back darkness in unseen corners. Let my presence carry peace into troubled spaces. Let my faith disrupt lies that try to settle. Let my obedience break cycles that once held power. May my life become not only a testimony, but also a weapon in your hands, advancing your kingdom with every step. Father, I thank you that this battle is not endless struggle, but certain victory. I thank you that though the fight is real, so is your triumph. I thank you that even when I feel weak, I am strong because you are my strength. Let this day be marked not by defeat, but by steady victory, not by fear, but by faith, not by despair, but by the hope that comes from knowing the battle belongs to you. Father, after learning that spiritual warfare is real and that you equip me with every weapon I need, I now see that there are times when the battle calls not for movement, but for holding ground. Courage is not always found in advancing. Sometimes it is found in standing firm, refusing to surrender the place you have entrusted to me. I think of Shammah, who stood alone in a field when others fled, defending what seemed small but mattered deeply. Father, teach me to take that same stand in my own life, to guard the ground you have given me with quiet resolve, trusting that when I refuse to yield, you bring the victory. I confess that there have been moments when retreat felt easier than resistance. When criticism pressed in, I wanted to withdraw. When fear whispered, I wanted to give up. When temptation persisted, I wanted to excuse compromise. But Father, remind me that every piece of ground has value, that nothing you entrust to me is insignificant. Whether it is the integrity of my heart, the peace of my home, or the calling you have placed upon me, these fields are worth protecting. Let me not abandon what you have assigned, but instead choose to stand even when it is difficult, even when I feel alone, even when surrender seems simpler. Father, help me to stand in prayer when answers seem delayed and discouragement tries to creep in. Let me remain steadfast, continuing to lift my requests with confidence. Teach me that persistence in prayer is not wasted effort, but evidence of faith. Let me stand in worship, lifting my voice even when heaviness presses down. Let me stand in truth, declaring what is right even when lies surround me. Let me stand in love, choosing forgiveness even when bitterness tempts me. Each act of standing may feel small, but in your hands, it becomes powerful. I ask you to strengthen me to stand in the face of spiritual opposition. When fear seeks to take hold of my mind, let me refuse to let it plant roots. When despair seeks to cloud my heart, let me resist with hope When temptation seeks to capture my will, let me hold fast to obedience. Remind me that standing is not passive, but active, a declaration that I belong to you, a witness that my ground is sacred because you have placed me there. Father, I know that standing firm often comes with loneliness. Others may not understand, and some may even walk away. Yet let me find comfort in knowing that I am never truly alone. You stood with Shammah in that field, and you will stand with me in mine. Let your presence be my courage, your promise my shield, and your strength my endurance. Teach me to value your approval above the approval of others, so that even if I stand alone before men, I stand together with you. I ask also for the wisdom to recognize which fields I am called to defend. Not every fight is mine, and not every battle requires my presence. Teach me to discern where you have assigned me, and to focus my strength there. Let me not waste energy defending ground that does not belong to me. But let me be unwavering in the areas where you have placed me. Whether it is in my family, my work, my church, or my community, help me to be faithful in protecting the space entrusted to my care. Father, give me the endurance to stand not only for a moment, but for as long as it takes. Sometimes the test is not about how quickly I move, but about how long I endure. Let me remain steady when days feel long, when answers feel distant, when victories seem delayed. Teach me that faithfulness is measured not in bursts of energy, but in steady perseverance. Let me be like a tree rooted deep, unmoved by passing storms, standing firm because my foundation is secure in you. I also ask you to help me stand not only for myself, but for others. When someone I love grows weary, let me stand in prayer on their behalf. When someone feels too weak to believe, let me carry faith for them. When someone is under attack, let me be the one who intercedes, who refuses to let the enemy steal what belongs to them. Let my stand become a shelter, not only for me, but for those who find safety in the shadow of my faithfulness. Father, remind me that standing does not mean stagnation, but steadfastness. It does not mean doing nothing, but doing the right thing consistently. It does not mean clinging stubbornly to my own will, but clinging faithfully to yours. Let my stand be marked by humility, not pride, by reliance, not self-sufficiency, by hope, not despair. Let it testify that I trust you even when I cannot see the outcome, that I believe in your promise even when the evidence is not yet visible. So today, Father, I choose to take my place in the field you have given me. I will not abandon it to fear, to compromise, or to despair. I will hold the ground in prayer, in worship, in truth, and in love. I will stand firm, not because of my own strength, but because you are with me. And as I stand, may others see not stubbornness, but faith, not resistance for its own sake, but devotion to the one who called me. May my stand bring honor to you and establish a testimony that the ground held in faith is ground that will flourish. Father, after learning to stand firm like Shammah and guard the ground you have given me, I realize that one of the greatest battles I must fight is not always against external enemies, but against the bitterness that tries to take root inside my own heart. Holding ground is not only about defending truth and protecting integrity, it is also about releasing the weight of resentment so that my spirit can remain free. Forgiveness is the field I must defend with courage, because without it my soul becomes a place where anger grows and hope fades. Father, teach me to embrace the freedom that comes when I forgive, to let go of the burdens that chain me, and to walk lightly in the grace you continually give to me. I confess that there have been times when forgiveness felt impossible. Words spoken against me lingered like echoes in my mind. Actions that wounded me left marks that time alone could not erase. There were moments when I thought holding on to the pain would somehow protect me, that remembering every detail would keep me safe from being hurt again. But Father, I see now that clinging to bitterness is not protection. It is prison. It locks me in the past, blinds me in the present, and steals hope for the future. Only forgiveness opens the door to freedom. Father, help me to release those who have wronged me. I do not want to carry anger into this day. I do not want to allow resentment to poison my thoughts or shape my words. As you have forgiven me far more than I deserve, let me extend that same grace. Teach me that forgiveness does not deny the hurt, but chooses not to let hurt have the final word. It does not excuse what was done, but releases its power over me. Let me see forgiveness not as weakness, but as strength. Not as surrender, but as victory. Not as forgetting, but as trusting that you are the one who brings justice. I ask you, Father, to heal the wounds that make forgiveness so difficult, where betrayal cut deeply, pour in comfort, where rejection left scars. Remind me of your acceptance, where cruelty tried to define me. Remind me that your love names me anew. Heal not only the surface of my heart, but the hidden places where bitterness tries to grow unseen. Let the cleansing power of forgiveness wash over me, restoring peace where turmoil has lived too long. Father, I also ask for courage to forgive myself. There are moments when I replay my own failures, when regret weighs heavily, when shame whispers relentlessly. I need to release those memories into your hands, trusting that if you have forgiven me, I have no right to withhold forgiveness from myself. Teach me to walk free from condemnation, to live in the lightness of mercy, to believe that grace is enough to cover even my deepest mistakes. Let self-forgiveness become an act of worship, a testimony that I trust in the sufficiency of the cross. I ask also for the grace to seek forgiveness from others when I have caused pain. Give me humility to admit my wrongs, to confess without excuses, to ask sincerely for reconciliation. Help me to repair what I can, to restore where possible, and to leave in your hands what I cannot fix. Let my willingness to seek forgiveness show that pride no longer rules me, that peace matters more than reputation, and that love matters more than being right. Father, let forgiveness flow through me as freely as it flows to me. Let me be quick to release offenses, quick to cover faults with love, quick to let go of grudges. Let my life reflect the mercy I have received. When others look at me, let them see someone who is not weighed down by bitterness, but lifted by grace. Someone who refuses to let pain define them, but chooses to let love shape them. Teach me that forgiveness is not a one-time act, but a daily choice. Some wounds will try to reopen. Some memories will try to return. Some offenses will try to regain power. In those moments, remind me again to release, to let go, to trust you. Let forgiveness become the rhythm of my heart, the steady pattern that keeps me free, the song that keeps my spirit light. Father, I thank you that forgiveness brings freedom not only to me, but also to those around me. When I forgive, my words soften, my presence calms, my relationships heal. When I forgive, hope is restored. Peace grows. Love flourishes. Forgiveness creates space where bitterness once lived, space where joy can take root again. And in that freedom, others can glimpse the beauty of your love, which forgives endlessly and restores completely. So today, Father, I choose to walk in freedom through forgiveness. I release the offenses I have carried. I let go of the bitterness that has weighed me down. I open my heart to the healing power of grace. May my life testify that forgiveness is stronger than hatred, that mercy is greater than resentment, and that freedom is found not in holding on but in letting go. And as I walk in this freedom, may it point others to you, the true source of mercy and the giver of peace. Father, after choosing the freedom that comes through forgiveness, I feel how light the heart becomes when it is no longer chained to bitterness. And yet, I know that freedom must be guarded by something greater, something steady enough to hold me through whatever storms may come. That something is peace, not as the world defines it, fragile and fleeting, but as you give it, strong enough to calm storms and deep enough to steady the soul. Father, I ask you to let your peace rule within me, not as a guest who visits occasionally, but as the ruler who governs every thought, every feeling, every step. I confess that too often I let other forces rule me. Anxiety has ruled when deadlines pressed in. Fear has ruled when the unknown loomed ahead. Anger has ruled when I felt misunderstood. Doubt has ruled when answers seemed far away. But Father, I do not want these emotions to sit on the throne of my heart. I want peace to reign, the peace that flows from trusting you, the peace that guards me when circumstances threaten, the peace that is not shaken by voices around me, but anchored in the truth of who you are. Father, let peace begin in my mind. Quiet the racing thoughts that run ahead with worry, replaying what has not yet happened or what I cannot change. Replace them with steady trust that you are already in the places I have yet to reach. Let peace reign in my heart, calm the storms of fear, soothe the ache of grief, and silence the tension of striving. Replace them with the assurance that I am held, that I am loved, that I am secure in you. Let peace guide my steps. When choices confront me, let peace be the signpost that points the way, reminding me that where your spirit leads, there my heart will find rest. I ask you, Father, to let peace shape my relationships. When conflict arises, let me be the one who answers with gentleness instead of hostility. When tension builds, let me be the one who carries calm instead of chaos. When words cut deeply, let me be the one who responds with patience instead of retaliation. Let my presence bring stability to others, not because I am unshaken in myself, but because I am rooted in the peace that flows from you. Father, Let peace guard me when life moves too quickly. The world teaches me to rush, to produce, to measure my value by output, but your peace reminds me that I am more than what I accomplish, that my worth is not in what I do, but in who I belong to. Slow me down when hurry tries to rob me of joy. Teach me to walk at the pace of grace, steady and intentional, refusing to let pressure become my ruler. Let peace remind me that I am already enough in you. I ask also for peace to steady me in times of uncertainty. When the future feels unclear and plans fall apart, let peace hold me firmly. Remind me that uncertainty is not abandonment, but an invitation to trust. Let my faith not crumble when answers delay, but grow stronger in the waiting. Let peace whisper that I do not need to know everything, because I know the one who holds everything. Father, let peace also shape my words. May my conversations today carry the tone of calm assurance. When others are anxious, let my words steady them. When others are discouraged, let my words lift them. When others are angry, let my words soften them. Let every sentence I speak reflect a spirit governed not by fear or pride, but by the quiet rule of peace. I pray for peace to fill the spaces I enter. Let it rest in my home, so that every corner becomes a refuge. Let it rest in my work, so that stress does not overshadow purpose. Let it rest in my community, so that division is met with unity, unrest with stability. Let the peace that rules within me overflow outward, transforming not only my inner life, but also the environment around me. Father, I know that peace does not mean the absence of conflict, but the presence of your Spirit in the midst of it. Teach me not to wait for circumstances to calm before I claim peace, but to let peace live within me regardless of what is happening outside me. Let peace be the ruler that steadies me in storms, anchors me in waiting, and carries me in uncertainty. Let peace remind me that victory is not found in the absence of struggle, but in the presence of your hand. So today, Father, I surrender the throne of my heart to peace. I yield my thoughts, my emotions, my choices to its rule. Let every fear bow before it, every doubt submit to it, every pressure yield to it. And as peace reigns within me, may it testify to the world that there is a love stronger than fear, a trust deeper than worry, and a hope greater than despair. Let peace rule not as a visitor, but as the permanent ruler of my life. Father, after surrendering my heart to the rule of peace, I recognize that peace prepares the way for healing. A spirit at rest creates space for restoration to begin. Yet I know that in this fragile body and in the depths of my soul, I carry both wounds and weariness that need your renewing touch. I come to you not only for strength to endure, but for wholeness that only you can give. You are the restorer of what is broken, the healer of what is wounded, the lifter of what is bowed down. Father, I open myself to your restoring work and ask you to breathe health and renewal into every part of my life. I confess that there are moments when my body feels the weight of strain, when fatigue slows me, when sickness interrupts my plans. At times I push myself beyond what is wise, trying to live on my own strength until it fails me. In those moments, remind me that you created these fragile bones and tender muscles, that you know my frame and remember I am dust. Teach me not to despise my limits, but to honor them, to rest when I need rest, to nourish myself with gratitude, and to trust that you care for the smallest details of my health. Father, I ask you to renew not only my body, but also my mind. Worry, distraction, and stress often cloud my thoughts, leaving me restless even when my body is still. Restore clarity where confusion has settled. Restore focus where distraction has taken hold. Restore calm where anxiety has whispered too loudly. Let my mind be refreshed by your truth, steady in wisdom, anchored in hope. Give me the ability to think clearly, to decide wisely, and to imagine freely in the light of your presence. I ask also for the healing of my heart. There are wounds no one sees, hurts carried quietly, disappointments tucked away. Father, I bring them into the light of your love. Heal the places where betrayal has cut deep. Heal the memories that still sting. Heal the grief that lingers longer than words can express. Replace bitterness with tenderness, sorrow with comfort, emptiness with joy. Teach me that healing does not erase the story, but transforms it into testimony. Let every scar remind me not of pain, but of your faithfulness to restore. Father, I also lift to you the relationships in my life that need restoration, where distance has grown. Build bridges where misunderstanding has lingered. Bring clarity where trust has been broken. Plant seeds of repair. Teach me to do my part with humility, to forgive freely, to seek reconciliation sincerely, even when restoration feels impossible. Remind me that nothing is beyond your power. Let your healing presence flow through me as an instrument of peace to others. I ask you for restoration of purpose as well. At times, weariness steals vision. Disappointment dims passion, and failure whispers that dreams are gone. But you are the God who revives what seems dead, who breathes life into dry bones, who restores the years that were lost. Breathe into me again. Father, restore passion where it has faded, hope where it has withered, and courage where it has faltered. Renew in me the joy of living with meaning, the strength to continue, and the faith to believe again. Father, let health and restoration extend beyond myself to those I love. I lift to you those who are sick, asking for your healing touch upon their bodies. I lift those who are weary, asking for your renewal in their spirits. I lift those who are broken-hearted, asking for your comfort to surround them. Let restoration ripple outward from my life, so that others too may experience your renewing power. Teach me, Father, that restoration often comes step by step, not always in sudden change, but in steady renewal. Give me patience to trust the process, faith to believe in what I cannot yet see, and gratitude for each small step forward. Remind me that healing is not only about the end result, but about walking with you in the journey. So today, Father, I surrender every part of me, body, mind, heart, and spirit to your care. Restore what is broken, strengthen what is weak, heal what is wounded, and revive what is weary. Let my life reflect wholeness, because I am untouched by hardship, but because I am continually renewed by your grace. May others see in me not only recovery, but the joy of restoration, a testimony that health flows from the one who makes all things new. Father, After asking you for health and restoration in my own body and spirit, I cannot help but lift to you those closest to me, the ones whose lives are interwoven with mine. Family is a gift, yet also a responsibility, a field of love that requires tending. Forgiveness and grace. I know that within the walls of family there is great joy, but also great vulnerability. For those we love most deeply can also wound us most deeply. Father, I bring my family under the covering of your mercy today, asking that every member be held in your kindness, strengthened by your love, and restored by your grace. I confess that at times I have taken my family for granted. I have been quick to notice flaws and slow to speak encouragement. I have expected patience from them even when I have not extended the same. Forgive me, Father, for the careless words, the hurried responses, the moments when I chose distraction over presence. Teach me to value each moment with them as a gift, to see every interaction as a chance to reflect your love, and to honor them not out of obligation, but out of gratitude. Father, I pray for protection over my family. Guard their bodies with health, their minds with clarity, and their hearts with peace. Surround them with safety in their going out and their coming in. Keep them from harm that I cannot prevent, from dangers I cannot foresee, from burdens too heavy for them to carry alone. Place your angels around them as a shield, and let your presence dwell within them as their strength. I ask also for unity within my family, where misunderstandings linger. Bring clarity where distance has formed. Draw us closer where tension has hardened hearts. Soften them with compassion. Let mercy flow through our conversations so that harshness is replaced with kindness, criticism with encouragement, and silence with listening. Teach us to forgive quickly, to love consistently, and to hold each other with patience. Remind us that family is not built on perfection, but on grace, not on flawless harmony, but on the willingness to walk together even through disagreements. Father, I lift before you the needs of each one in my family. You know their struggles more deeply than I do. For the one who feels weary, give strength. For the one who feels afraid, give courage. For the one who feels overlooked, give assurance. For the one who feels broken, give healing. Meet them in the secret places of their hearts, where my words cannot reach, but where your Spirit speaks clearly. I ask you to guide us in the way we relate to one another. Let my words to my family be seasoned with patience and encouragement. Let my actions show consistency and trustworthiness. Let my presence bring calm rather than tension, hope rather than discouragement. Make me a channel of your mercy in my own home, so that the love I speak of in prayer is the same love I live in daily life. Father, bless the future of my family. Guide our decisions, shape our values, and establish our steps. Let our home be a place where your presence is felt, not only in moments of prayer, but in the way we treat one another in the ordinary routines of life. Let laughter echo through our rooms. Let kindness mark our interactions, and let faith anchor our hearts. Make our household a testimony that your mercy covers imperfections and turns them into beauty. I pray also for generations to come, whether children or grandchildren. Let them inherit not wealth alone, but faith that endures. Let them see in us examples of humility, of love, of trust in you. Protect their innocence, guide their growth, and prepare them for their own callings. Let the mercy that covers me today extend beyond me, flowing into the lives of those who will come after. Father, thank you for the gift of family. Thank you for the joy of belonging, for the comfort of being known, and for the challenge that teaches me patience and grace. Thank you that even in brokenness, family can become a place of healing when it is surrendered to you. Teach me to never give up on the ones you have given me, but to trust that your mercy is always greater than our failures. So today, Father, I place my family fully under your mercy. I entrust them to your care, knowing that you love them more than I ever could. Cover us in grace that restores, in kindness that heals, and in patience that endures. Let our home be marked not by perfection, but by mercy, not by pride, but by love, not by division, but by unity. And as we live together under this mercy, may our family shine as a reflection of your heart to the world. Father, after placing my family under the covering of your mercy, I turn my thoughts toward the work you have entrusted to my hands. Work is not only about earning or achieving, but about reflecting your image as creator, sustainer, and provider. Every task, whether large or small, carries the potential to become worship when it is done with a heart surrendered to you. Teach me to see my labor not as separate from my faith, but as an extension of it, a place where diligence becomes devotion and excellence becomes offering. I confess that I have not always viewed work this way. Too often I have seen it as routine, as burden, or as obligation. At times I have worked only for recognition or hurried through tasks without gratitude. Forgive me, Father, for the moments when I separated my work from your presence, forgetting that you are as near in the workplace as you are in the sanctuary. Remind me that every desk, every field, every meeting, and every responsibility can become holy ground when I bring it under the rule of your Spirit. Father, I ask you to give me integrity in my work. Let me be honest in what I do, dependable in what I promise, and faithful in what I complete. Even when no one is watching, let my effort remain steady, for I know that ultimately I work not for human eyes, but for yours. Let my diligence honor you more than it seeks applause. Let my consistency reflect trustworthiness more than it pursues reward. Teach me to labor with joy, not complaint, with gratitude, not resentment, with humility, not pride. I ask also for wisdom in my work. Guide my decisions so that they reflect fairness and compassion. When I am faced with choices that could compromise my values, give me courage to stand firm. When I am tempted to take shortcuts, remind me that integrity lasts longer than speed. When challenges arise, grant me creativity to find solutions and patience to see them through. Let wisdom guide my hands, my words, and my leadership, so that what I build lasts beyond the moment and honors you. Father, bless the relationships formed through my work. Let me treat colleagues with respect, clients with honesty, and those under my care with dignity. Help me to listen well, to encourage generously, and to carry peace into every interaction. Protect me from competition that breeds envy and from ambition that tramples others. Instead, let cooperation, humility, and kindness shape the way I work with those around me. Let my presence in the workplace be a quiet testimony that points others to you without needing to preach. I ask you to strengthen me in moments of weariness. Work can drain energy and test patience. There will be days when tasks feel endless and progress feels slow. On those days, remind me that my worth is not measured by output, but belonging. Let me rest in the truth that I am loved not for what I accomplish, but for who I am in you. Renew my energy when fatigue settles in, and refresh my spirit when frustration lingers. Teach me to pace myself wisely, to rest as needed, and to trust that you bless both diligence and stillness. Father, let my work be fruitful, not only in visible results, but in unseen impact. Even when outcomes seem small, let me trust that every act of faithfulness contributes to something greater. A kind word to a coworker, a moment of patience in stress, an act of integrity when no one notices. These are offerings of worship as real as any song or prayer. Teach me to value not just the product of my work, but the spirit in which it is done. I also lift to you the future of my work. Guide the path ahead. Open doors that align with your purpose, and close those that would lead me astray. Give me courage to step into opportunities with confidence, and humility to accept limitations with grace. Let my career or calling not be about self-promotion, but about service. Not about climbing ladders, but about lifting others. Not about wealth alone, but about generosity that blesses. Father, remind me that work is part of the rhythm of creation. You worked in forming the world and rested in delight. Teach me that rest is as holy as labor, and that worship is found in both. Help me to carry that balance, so I neither neglect diligence nor resist rest. Let my life be a reflection of this rhythm, honoring you in the way I work and in the way I restore. So today, Father, I place my work before you as worship. Take my tasks, whether ordinary or extraordinary, and let them become offerings of love. Take my hands and let them serve faithfully. Take my mind and let it think wisely. Take my time and let it be used fruitfully. May the work of my life point always to you, so that when others see my labor, they see more than effort, they see devotion. Let my work become my worship, and let my worship be found in the way I work. Father, after offering my work as worship to you, I now realize that the fruit of labor is never meant to be hoarded but shared. Work gives me provision, but generosity turns provision into blessing. You are the giver of every gift, and what you entrust to me is never only for myself. Father, teach me to live with a generous spirit, not only in resources but in time, in words, in compassion, and in presence. Let generosity be more than an occasional act. It must become a posture of my life, a reflection of your endless giving. I confess that there have been moments when I clung tightly to what I had, afraid that letting go would leave me with too little. Fear of lack made me cautious, even when compassion stirred within me. Forgive me, Father, for the times I measured giving by my own comfort, instead of by the abundance of your provision. Remind me that generosity is not about the size of the gift, but the sincerity of the heart. Not about wealth, but about willingness. Not about surplus, but about sacrifice. Father, I ask you to free me from the grip of fear that whispers. What if it is not enough? Replace that fear with faith that trusts. You will provide. Teach me that the open hand always receives more than the clenched fist, and that what is poured out in love never returns empty. Let my giving be cheerful, not reluctant, abundant, not grudging, joyful, not calculating. Let my heart delight in generosity, because it reflects who you are. I ask also for generosity in my words. Father, help me to speak encouragement freely, to affirm others sincerely, to celebrate their victories without envy. Let me be quick to offer gratitude, slow to criticize, ready to uplift. A word spoken in season can be a gift greater than gold, a seed planted that bears fruit long after the moment has passed. Let my speech be generous, carrying kindness where silence would have left emptiness. Father, let me also be generous with my time. In a world where business often rules, teach me to pause long enough to notice the needs of others. Help me to listen without rushing, to serve without resentment, to give my attention fully rather than partially. Remind me that time offered in love is never wasted, but becomes an investment in lives, an eternal act of kindness that honors you. I ask you to make me generous in compassion. Let me not withhold empathy because another's burden seems small compared to mine. Let me not close my heart when someone is different from me. Let me not ration mercy as though it were scarce. Fill me with compassion that sees beyond the surface, that enters into another's pain, that walks patiently with them through struggle. Let compassion flow as freely as the mercy you have poured into me. Father, let generosity extend even to forgiveness. When wronged, let me not be stingy with grace. When misunderstood, let me not withhold reconciliation. When offended, let me not ration mercy. Teach me that to forgive freely is to give a gift far greater than possessions, the gift of release, the gift of peace, the gift of starting anew. I also ask for generosity and hospitality. Let my home be a place where others feel welcome, not because it is perfect, but because love dwells there. Let my table be open to the hungry, my heart open to the lonely, my presence open to the weary. Let my life be a door that opens rather than a wall that excludes. Show me that hospitality is not measured in size or wealth, but in warmth, in kindness, in the willingness to share what I have. Father, I pray that generosity would shape the legacy I leave behind. Let those who know me remember not what I kept, but what I gave, not what I accumulated, but what I poured out. Not the wealth of possessions, but the wealth of love. Let my life inspire others to give freely, to serve willingly, to love extravagantly. Let the story of my days be one of generosity that points back to the endless generosity of your heart. So today, Father, I open my hands and ask you to fill them not only with provision, but with a spirit of generosity. Let me give without fear, speak without holding back, listen without hurry, and love without limit. Let generosity become the rhythm of my life, so that in every act, large or small, others may glimpse the generosity of Christ, who gave his all. Father, after asking you to form in me a generous spirit, I realize how often generosity itself is hindered by fear. Fear whispers that I will not have enough, that I am not strong enough, that the unknown ahead is too great for me to face. Fear shrinks my vision, narrows my steps, and steals my courage. But faith enlarges, strengthens, and frees. Father, I ask you to help me choose faith over fear in every place where my heart wavers. Let trust rise louder than anxiety, and let courage built on your promises silence the trembling that tries to overtake me. I confess that fear has too often ruled me. It has made me hesitate when opportunities called, retreat when challenges rose, and remain silent when truth needed to be spoken. Fear has disguised itself as caution, convincing me that playing small was wisdom, when it was only hesitation. Forgive me, Father, for the times I allowed fear to dictate my choices, instead of leaning on your word. Teach me to recognize fear for what it is: a thief of joy, a robber of peace, and a liar that tries to eclipse the truth of your faithfulness. Father, I ask you to increase my faith. Let it be more than belief in theory, but trust in practice. Let my faith be evident in the way I face uncertainty, in the way I carry myself through trials, in the way I continue to walk forward even when I cannot see the path clearly. Strengthen my confidence in your promises, that no weapon formed against me shall prosper, that you will never leave me nor forsake me, that nothing can separate me from your love. Let faith become my anchor when fear attempts to drift me away. I ask also for courage to act in faith, even when I feel afraid. Teach me that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward anyway. Trusting that you go with me when my knees shake. Let my heart still step. When doubts shout, let trust whisper stronger. When the future feels unclear, let obedience guide me one step at a time. Let faith be the compass that directs me, not the shifting winds of fear. Father, help me to remember the stories of your faithfulness. Remind me of the times you carried me through valleys where I thought I would not survive. Remind me of the doors you opened when I had no strength left to knock. Remind me of the peace you gave when storms raged around me. Let these memories fuel my faith, showing me that if you were faithful then, you will be faithful now. Teach me to rehearse your goodness until faith rises above fear. I ask you to fill my speech with faith. Let me speak words that build courage in myself and in others. When fear tries to dominate conversations, let my voice be one that points to hope. When discouragement spreads, let my words spread encouragement. When anxiety grows, let my words carry calm assurance. Teach me to speak not from panic but from peace, not from doubt but from trust. Let my tongue be a vessel of faith that shifts the atmosphere wherever I go. Father, let faith also shape my imagination. Fear paints pictures of worst-case scenarios, but faith paints visions of hope. Let me dream with boldness, believing not in what I see, but in what you have promised. Let me imagine possibilities that align with your will, not limit myself to what feels safe. Teach me to let faith enlarge my perspective, lifting my eyes above the ground of fear to the horizon of promise. Ask you to surround me with reminders of faith. Send voices that encourage rather than discourage, community that strengthens rather than weakens, and examples that inspire rather than intimidate. Guard me from voices that feed fear, and draw me closer to those who call me into courage. Let my environment reflect the truth that faith flourishes when nurtured, and fear diminishes when exposed to your light. Father, as I step in the unknowns of this day, let faith be the garment I wear. Let it clothe me in calm confidence, steady resilience, and quiet courage. Let it remind me that I do not walk alone, for you walk with me. Let it carry me through challenges with strength, through trials with endurance, through uncertainty with peace. And when fear tries to whisper again, let faith answer louder, declaring that my trust is not in circumstances, but in you. So today, Father, I choose faith over fear. I lay down anxiety and pick up trust. I release control and embrace surrender. I silence doubt and proclaim belief. May faith be the banner that flies over my life, reminding me and all who see me that fear does not win, for the God of hope reigns within me. Father, after choosing faith over fear, I now see that faith often leads me into seasons where I must wait. Waiting is not easy, for my heart longs for answers quickly, and my mind wants resolution immediately. Yet waiting is the ground where hope is tested, stretched, and strengthened. Father, I ask you to teach me how to wait well, not with despair, not with impatience, not with resignation, but with hope that leans into your promises. Let the waiting become not wasted time, but holy time, a place where my soul grows deeper roots and my eyes learn to see beyond the present moment. I confess that waiting has often been the place where I felt weakest. My prayers felt unanswered, my plans felt delayed, my expectations felt disappointed. I grew restless, doubting if you had heard me, questioning if you cared. Forgive me, Father, for the times I mistook your silence for absence, when in truth you were working in ways I could not yet see. Teach me that waiting is not the denial of promise, but the preparation for it. Help me to trust that delays are not defeats, but opportunities for growth. Father, I ask you to anchor my hope in your word during seasons of waiting. When impatience stirs, remind me that your timing is perfect. When discouragement whispers, remind me of stories where waiting brought forth miracles. Remind me of Abraham, who waited for the fulfillment of promise, of Joseph, who waited through betrayal and prison, of Hannah, who waited with tears before her joy arrived. Let their testimonies remind me that waiting never means forgotten, and that hope anchored in you does not disappoint. I ask also for hope that sustains, joy even when circumstances remain unchanged. Teach me to find beauty in the present instead of postponing joy until the answer comes. Let gratitude fill my heart for blessings already here, for strength already given, for love already surrounding me. Hope does not mean ignoring reality, but choosing to believe that reality is not the end of the story. Help me to hold joy and longing together, trusting that both have a place in the waiting. Father, shape my perspective in the waiting. Teach me that waiting refines my desires, clarifies my motives, and strengthens my endurance. Waiting strips away what is shallow and deepens what is eternal. When impatience makes me want to run ahead, remind me that the roots grow strongest underground before fruit is ever seen. Let waiting form in me resilience, humility, and deeper trust in you. I also ask for hope that carries peace to others while I wait. Let me encourage those who are in their own seasons of delay, reminding them they are not forgotten. Let my patience become a testimony that trust is possible even when answers have not yet arrived. Let me wait not with bitterness, but with gentleness, not with complaint, but with calm assurance, not with despair, but with steady hope. Let others see in me a faith that is not fragile, but enduring. Father, give me strength for the long waits, for the prayers prayed again and again without visible change. Give me courage for the painful waits, when the heart longs for healing, for reconciliation, for breakthrough. Give me patience for the quiet waits, where answers come slowly and silence seems louder than assurance. In every kind of waiting, let hope remain alive, a light that does not flicker out but grows steadier with each passing day. Remind me, Father, that waiting is not a pause in your plan, but a part of it. Even when I do not see progress, you are shaping the unseen. Even when I feel forgotten, you are closer than ever. Even when the night stretches long, dawn is already certain. Waiting teaches me to trust not in the outcome, but in you, the one who holds the outcome. Let this truth settle in me so deeply that I no longer see waiting as punishment, but as preparation. So today, Father, as I walk through the unknowns of time, I choose to place my hope in you. I will wait not with clenched fists, but with open hands. I will wait not with restless fear, but with steady trust. I will wait not with despair, but with expectation. For hope in the waiting is not wishful thinking, is confidence that you are faithful, that your word is true, and that what you have promised will come to pass in its appointed time. Father, as I continue learning to wait on you with hope, I now ask that you teach me the strength of joy in the waiting, not the joy that depends on good news or favorable conditions, but the joy that flows from your presence and abides even in uncertainty. Father, you are the source of a joy that is not fleeting, not shallow, not fragile. You offer a joy that strengthens the soul, steadies the heart, and fuels perseverance when the journey feels long and the answers seem far away. I do not want to live with joy as an occasional guest. I want joy to dwell in me as a constant companion, a reflection of my confidence in you. The world often treats joy as a reaction, but you reveal joy as a choice, a fruit, a strength, and I need that strength now, the strength that lifts my spirit when burdens press down, the strength that sings when there is no visible reason to sing, the strength that rises from knowing that you are with me, for me, and in control of all that concerns me. Let this joy not be confined to moments of triumph. Let it show up in the ordinary, in the silence, in the struggle. Let it be resilient, growing deeper when tested, shining brighter in darkness. Father, renew my understanding of joy. Remind me that joy is not naive optimism, but sacred courage. It is not denial of hardship, but the declaration that hardship does not have the final say. It is not a mask for pain, but a melody that coexists with it, refusing to let sorrow steal my song. Teach me to carry both truth and joy in the same heart. When I feel weary, let joy remind me that I am not walking alone. When I feel weak, let joy reveal that your grace is sufficient. When I feel broken, let joy whisper that you are still writing my story. I ask that you guard my joy, Father, from the many things that try to steal it. Guard it from comparison, which tells me I do not have enough. Guard it from anxiety, which convinces me to fear the future. Guard it from bitterness, which clings to past wounds. Guard it from distraction, which fills my days but empties my heart. Guard it from self-pity, which forgets all you have already done. Let my joy be rooted in truth, not in changing circumstances. Let it flow from the confidence that no matter what shifts around me, you remain the same. Father, let joy shape my perspective. Let it teach me to see through eyes of faith, not frustration. Let it lift my gaze from problems to possibilities. Let it infuse my words with encouragement, my actions with kindness, my thoughts with gratitude. Let joy not be something I pursue as a reward, but something I carry as a revelation that you are good, that you are near, and that you are enough, even in trials. Let joy testify to a deeper peace. Even in the unknown, let joy declare that my soul is anchored. I ask also for the joy that overflows to others, not a performance, but a presence, a joy that calms anxious hearts, softens hardened ones, and invites others to hope again. Let my joy be quiet strength for the weary and gentle light for those walking in shadows. Let it be contagious, not because it is loud, but because it is real. Let it speak louder than cynicism, last longer than trends, and reach deeper than surface smiles. Let it be a testimony not to my personality, but to your transforming power. Father, help me embrace joy as my inheritance, not just an occasional experience. Remind me that your joy was meant to be my strength, not my reward after trials, but my resource through them. Let me learn to draw from that joy daily, just as I draw breath. When I wake, let joy greet me before my worries. When I walk, let joy pace beside me. When I rest, let joy quiet my thoughts. And when I face storms, let joy be the song that steadies my soul. Teach me to rejoice not because life is always easy, but because you are always faithful. Not because I feel in control, because you hold all things in your hand. Not because I understand everything, because I know you are working all things together for good. Let my joy come not from outcomes, but from relationship. Let it be the fruit of intimacy, not just the echo of blessings. Let it be strong enough to carry me through disappointment and light enough to lift others toward hope. So today, Father, I choose joy. I choose it in the face of frustration. I choose it in the midst of delays. I choose it when the day feels long and the answers feel far. I choose it not because I feel it, because I believe in you. I choose joy as my strength, my song, my stand. Not joy as escape, but joy as empowerment. Not joy as reaction, but joy as revelation. Joy that rises, joy that remains. Joy that reflects the reality of your unshakable love and unending grace. Father, as I rise again in your presence this morning, I feel the quiet flow of your mercy like a gentle river running through my soul. The stillness of your nearness silences the storms of yesterday, and the echoes of all my striving begin to fade beneath the waters of your endless compassion. I remain in the shadow of your grace, where I have dwelled since the beginning of this sacred journey. From chapter to chapter, from prayer to prayer, you have not failed to carry me. And now, as I step into this new morning, I sense you calling me into deeper waters, to the river of restoration, where the broken are mended and the weary are renewed. I remember the dust of many yesterdays clinging to the edges of my hope. But you, Father, are the God who washes feet. You kneel in humility to meet me where I am, and you lift my chin with the tenderness of a shepherd who knows the weight of every wandering. In your gaze, I see no condemnation, only the fierce love of one who restores what was thought ruined. My heart, cracked by time and trials, pulses again beneath your healing breath. This is the river I was always meant to drink from, the flow of your spirit that revives every withered place. Today I yield every brittle part of me to your current. I will not resist what you are cleansing, even when it stings, the sediment of shame, the debris of disappointment, the weeds of bitterness. You uproot them all, not to expose me, but to set me free. You are not interested in merely patching me together. You restore me from the inside out, layer by layer, truth upon truth, until what is rebuilt no longer resembles what was broken. You are not only the God of rescue, but the God of restoration. You do not leave me standing ankle deep in healing waters. You draw me in, deeper still, where the flow surrounds me, carries me, teaches me to trust even when I cannot touch the ground. I am learning to let go of control, not because I am strong, but because I believe you are. In the depths of this river, I lose the illusion of my own strength, and I gain the quiet power of surrender. You whisper that restoration is not a destination, but a rhythm, a daily returning to the one who makes all things new. There is no fracture too deep for your touch, no history too tangled for your hand, no identity too shattered that you cannot breathe wholeness into it again. You are not startled by the ruins you find in me. You are the master craftsman, not intimidated by the rubble, but moved with compassion to restore. Where others have seen ashes, you see beauty waiting to rise. Where others have walked away, you draw closer. Where I have given up, you have only begun. This is what restoration looks like. It wears no mask, pretends no perfection, and demands no performance. I stand now in the stream of your truth. Your word flows over me, cutting through lies that have long distorted my reflection. I hear you speak again that I am yours, not because I earned it, but because you chose me before the foundations of the world. In you, I am not defined by what was taken from me, or by what I have lost, or by what I failed to become. I am defined by what you are restoring in me: hope, purpose, identity, and belonging. Let the river flow. Father, even into places I have hidden, into the valleys I have locked away behind walls of self-protection. Break through with the force of grace, soft yet unstoppable. I give you my weariness and my wounds, and in exchange, you offer living water that never runs dry. My soul drinks deeply of you this morning. I lift my hands not in despair, but in expectation, knowing the one who began a good work in me will be faithful to complete it, not because I deserve it, but because you are faithful. Even now I feel it rising, the song of the restored. It is not a shout of those who have conquered, but a melody of the mended who know the miracle of mercy. I join the chorus of those who were lost but are found, who were wounded but are healing, who were cast aside but are now called beloved. The sound of your restoration is gentle but powerful, like water over stone, shaping me with every moment spent in your presence. In the sacred hush of this morning, I do not ask for perfection. I ask for restoration. I ask for the courage to keep returning to the river, to bathe in truth, to soak in grace, to walk each day with the humility of the healed. I do not run from my need anymore. I bring it boldly before you, knowing you are not ashamed of the cracks in my vessel. You see them as places where your light can shine through. So I lean into your touch, not with fear but with faith, believing that what you are doing in me is beautiful, even when it is slow, even when it is hidden. This is the rhythm of being made new, again and again, not through striving but through staying close, not by fixing myself, but by letting you form me. I choose to abide, to remain, to dwell in your presence as you restore the soul beneath the surface. I will not chase after fleeting strength. I will wait for eternal renewal. Let this day be marked not by what I accomplish, but by what you restore. Let my words carry healing. Let my silence hold peace. Let my presence reflect the quiet confidence of one who knows the restorer of all things. As I move through this day, let me be a witness to others that you are not done with them either. Let my life whisper what my mouth may never say, that there is always hope for restoration, no matter how far things have fallen apart. Father, take me deeper into the river today, not for escape, but for encounter. Not to forget the world, but to be formed for it. Make me a vessel of restoration in the lives I touch. Use what you have healed in me to heal others. And when the current is strong and the path unclear, remind me that I do not walk alone. You are the one who walks before me, beside me, and within me, restoring every step I take. Father, as I come to this quiet morning once more, my heart rests in a stillness I did not create, but have come to treasure deeply. It is a stillness born not from the absence of trouble, but from the presence of trust. You have led me through shadows and sunlight, through brokenness and renewal, and you have been faithful in every step. Now, as I stand at the close of this prayerful journey, I do not feel an end but a gentle beginning. Like the hush that comes before dawn breaks, there is expectancy in the air, a sacred breath waiting to rise. These mornings have become more than habit. They are a sanctuary, a returning place, a daily reminder that you are not a distant God, but the breath that fills my lungs. You are the whisper that steadies my thoughts, the rhythm beneath every heartbeat, the one who speaks when all else falls silent. In this final chapter, I do not bring new words, but a heart full of memory, of moments where your nearness reshaped the way I see everything. I trace each prayer like footprints in dew-soaked grass, leading back to your presence. And I know now that you were always the destination. The journey was never about finding strength in myself. It was always about recognizing your strength within me. When I faltered, you lifted. When I feared, you comforted. When I doubted, you waited. You are patient with my process, never rushing what needs to unfold slowly. And in that slowness, I discovered the beauty of walking instead of running, of listening instead of speaking, of resting instead of proving. Each morning prayer has peeled away a layer of striving, revealing the quiet truth that I am already held. You have drawn me through waters of identity, calling me not by what the world sees, but by what you know. You have taught me to walk in spiritual authority, not through domination, but through surrender. You have shown me that your power is made perfect in my weakness, and that humility is not loss, it is where true strength begins. You have shaped me with the fire of truth, the softness of mercy, and the firmness of conviction. And now, as I reflect on the road behind me, I carry not the weight of effort, but the lightness of grace. I have learned to see you not only in the grand, miraculous moments, but in the unnoticed ones, the quiet decisions, the whispered prayers, the small victories of choosing kindness, patience, hope. I have begun to understand that faith is not a destination I arrive at fully formed, but a lifelong unfolding, 1,000 yeses in the ordinary hours. And that is where you meet me, right there, in the ordinary, making it sacred. Today, I do not pray as one who has reached the mountaintop, but as one who now sees the beauty of the valley. You walk with me still, not above me or ahead of me, but beside me. You are the companion of every journey, the voice behind me saying, "This is the way." And I choose again to follow, not because I see every step clearly, but because I trust the one who does. As this final morning prayer reaches its closing breath, I do not say goodbye. I say thank you. Thank you for every heart that has prayed alongside me, for every soul that has paused long enough to seek you in the early light. Thank you for the hidden work you have done in their lives, the healing no one sees, the strength no one applauds, the victories known only to you. These are the treasures that last. To the one listening now, who has journeyed through each chapter with an open heart, I honor your courage. I honor your faith that kept showing up, even when it was hard. I bless your story, knowing that God is not finished with it. This prayer was never about reaching a perfect place. It was about becoming a person who returns to the source daily, who leans in when life pulls away, who believes in the quiet power of the unseen. If these words have touched you, let them linger in your soul like a soft echo. And if you have found a place to rest here, you are welcome to share your thoughts, your prayers, your own unfolding with others below. There is power in our shared vulnerability, in knowing we are not alone. You are not walking this path in isolation. We are a community of faith, growing together, rooted in the same grace. As you close this chapter, I invite you not to stop, but to begin again each morning. Return to the stillness. Speak to your Father. Let Him speak to you. And when you do, share it. Let others know there is light here. There is peace. There is transformation not in loud declarations, but in the simple act of showing up before God each day. If this journey has encouraged you, I ask that you take a moment to share it with a friend, a loved one, or someone who might be standing in the dark waiting for a flicker of light. Your voice can be that light. Your life, surrendered to God, can become the prayer someone else needs to hear. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet, not for numbers, but for community, for growth, for the daily reminder that faith is not meant to be lived alone. As we part for now, I leave you with no farewell, only the gentle image of a morning that never truly ends, a light that keeps unfolding, a breeze that carries the sound of heaven's nearness, a river that never runs dry. You are walking with God, and that is more than enough. Let the journey continue, one sunrise at a time,